Well, good morning. Welcome back to the Broadcast Retirement Network. I'm Jeff Snyder. This is BRN AM for Tuesday, May 16th, 2023. And our top story, why buying a home without a home inspection could be a major mistake. And joining me now to discuss this and a lot more, Lisa Alajajian Giroux is the president of the American Society of Home Inspectors. Lisa, great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us on the program this morning.
And thank you for inviting me.
Lisa, I want to start off by asking, how important is the home inspection when you're buying or selling a home?
You know, when you're a buyer and you're purchasing the largest expenditure of your life, I think it's at the top of the list. You should have the right to be able to protect your investment. The most important thing you can do is have a home inspection. Why would you buy a house today in my area anywhere from $500,000 to $3 million and not spend money on a home inspection or not put a home inspection contingency in your offer? Just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it doesn't. And, it kind of boggles the mind. But yet, with this appreciation in home prices and people competing, a lot of people waive contingencies and that home inspection. And we're going to talk in the second segment about things you can do in terms of the home inspection. But doesn't it boggle the mind when you talk about the importance of the investment? People decided, okay, I want that house so much. I don't know anything about it, but I want it. It's kind of scary.
It blows my mind. I've been doing this for 25 years, and I hear a lot of first-time buyers tell me, I will never waive the home inspection. And then they put an offer in, they put 2, they put 10, and they all get turned down. And then it's desperation. I have to have a home all of a sudden. And they get caught up in the frenzy. And they're waiving everything from home inspection to appraisal to mortgage contingency. And it makes no sense to me. I feel like they're setting themselves up for a failure in the future.
Well, Lisa, I don't know how long a home inspection takes. Perhaps you can tell me. But are people waiving the contingencies and the home inspection simply because it takes too long? Or is it because of what they'll find? Or is it because they just want the house regardless?
Well, that's a good question. What I'm seeing out in the field right now is there's not enough inventory. It is definitely a seller's market. So the seller wants the easiest offer possible with the quickest closing and best terms. So if you have 10 offers and we have a pile here of offers for cash and no contingencies, and we have a first-time home buyer with maybe 10% down, they want a home inspection, they want a pest inspection, they want an appraisal, they want a mortgage commitment. Which one in this day and age is a seller going to take? He wants a nice, clean offer. What I'm seeing out in the field is the people with money that are waiving everything, they sign the offer, 2 days later they sign the P&S, and most times it's 30-day closing. So it's a quick, easy transaction, and the seller's getting top dollar, money in the pocket, and they don't have to worry about a home inspector coming in and maybe finding a hot water heater leaking or a heating system at the end of its life. So there's no negotiation.
So it's a great deal for the seller, but even if the buyer has a lot of money, if they need a new roof down the line, that's a pretty, roof can be 30, 40, 50,000 or more, depending on the size of the home. I mean, it just doesn't sound, even if you have money, people who have money typically have money because they're good with money. They're good investors, they're good savers. Why would you kind of forfeit the ability to check whether you need a hot water heater, you need a new roof, you need a new foundation?
Because they're not being given the opportunity to inspect the home, to find out those things. Anyone can go through a house and look around and go, oh, wow, this is really pretty. And, oh, look at the heating system looks newer. And then someone like me comes in, but that heating system is 40 years old. It's fully depreciated. So they get a false sense of protection. It makes no sense why someone would be forced, and they are being forced to waive their home inspection contingency. I've talked to agents off the record who told me, well, if we get 14 offers, anything with a contingency goes to the right, anything cash or no contingencies go to the left, and then the seller makes up his mind.
Yeah, and real quick, I want to ask you before I go to a commercial break, what about the lender? If I'm the mortgage lender and I'm giving this money to the seller, or the buyer, excuse me, to buy, and then they're going to, of course, transfer this money over to the seller. Aren't I worried about my collateral, my investment? Because they're essentially lending money in the form of this mortgage and getting money back, but they're part owner in a sense to this piece of property. It doesn't make sense from the mortgage lender's point of view either.
It doesn't, and that's a great question. Why are the mortgage lenders and why are the insurance carriers insuring homes or giving loans on multi-million-dollar homes without a home inspection? It makes no sense to me. You would think they'd want to protect their interests. And I think down the road, we may see them get involved with that. But right now, they're not saying a word about it. And that confuses me as well. Why wouldn't they want an inspection done on the property? It's not like an appraisal where the appraisal comes in, he takes a look and, oh yeah, there's a house here, yeah. He's not looking at systems. He's not looking at, is there knob and tube wire? He's not looking at ages of components. And all of a sudden, insurance companies are getting calls. Oh, I got a roof leak. Oh, I got an AC issue. I got a call from an insurance carrier years back that said, did you not tell your client that the AC was 35 years old? Because they put in a claim. And I said, well, I really can't talk to you. I'm sorry, but you're not my client. So I would like to see them get more involved.
Yeah, I mean, and you bring up, I brought up the mortgage lender, but you brought up the insurance company that is providing the insurance on that home. You would think that before I insure anything, before I start accepting premia, I would want to know what I'm insuring. First of all, like as you said, do I need a hot water heater? Do I need a new HVAC system? Do I need to shore up my foundation? All those kind of things would to me, be what I would demand if I were the insurance company.
I would if I owned an insurance company. I don't want people buying handyman specials and using my insurance policy as their home warranty, which is basically what's happening now.
Yeah. Well, Lisa, I need to take a very quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some tips when you do get a home inspection. You're going to want to stay tuned right here on BRN AM. Imagine a new television network that will make you richer, healthier, and in control of your financial future. This network is for the policewoman in Nashville, Tennessee, the baker in Dubuque, Iowa, the teacher in Lexington, Kentucky. We want to make the idea of savings and retirement culturally relevant. But what do you see as a defining issue of the midterms? Especially for the smaller businesses. I mean, they are the lifeblood of the American economy. Featuring exclusive interviews, current affairs, and docuseries. 33 years old, you retired early.
The philosophy is money only matters if it helps you live a life that you love.
But you got to start thinking about retirement as soon as you get in.
The Broadcast Retirement Network will drive very high engagement with premium partnerships. So this isn't retirement and savings for your parents or grandparents. This is for all Americans. And we're going to change the way you think about money. Welcome to the next frontier of retirement and savings. This is BRN, the Broadcast Retirement Network.
Tax audits, tax liens, wage garnishments.
Every day we hear stories like this about good folks who are simply struggling to pay their bills. Each of them are living a frightening IRS tax nightmare, and they are afraid it will destroy their lives.
I'm a divorced single mom, and my ex-husband left me and the kids with a lot of unpaid bills, including unpaid taxes. I was really starting to show my stress on my kids because the IRS had sent me a letter demanding a huge payment from me. I couldn't afford it. So then the IRS was threatening to garnish my wages. I'm already living paycheck to paycheck. That would have put me over the edge financially.
It truly seemed hopeless, but then a friend at work told her to call the tax relief line.
The people at the tax relief line, they told me about something called innocent spouse relief. They worked it out so that all of the taxes from my ex are not my problem. I don't know how that works, and I don't care. All I care about is that I don't owe the IRS a dime, and they are not going to take my paycheck.
Even if it seems hopeless, you should call the number on your screen right now. There is absolutely no cost for the call or the consultation. You are under no obligation. If you are worried that the IRS could garnish your wages, seize your assets, even take your home, call us right now. The Tax Relief Line is here to help you. Now you have a knowledgeable, professional team of tax experts that are ready to negotiate with the IRS and fight for you to save you money. The Tax Relief Line's professionals have successfully negotiated thousands of cases, reducing and sometimes even eliminating the tax debt for their clients. It's very easy to get started. Simply call the number on your screen right now. You don't have to live in fear anymore. The call and the consultation are free.
Well, Lisa, thanks so much for sticking around with us this morning. Really appreciate hanging around for segment number 2.
Sure.
This is a really important topic for all those people thinking about waiving your home inspection, Lisa. What goes into a home inspection? What do I need to know? So if I engage you or one of your peers in the home inspection business, what goes into it? How long does it take?
It depends. It depends on the age of the home, the size of the home, whether the client's with me and wants me to explain systems to them, which I highly encourage. That way they can see what I see. I work with a team, so I can be in a house anywhere from 2 hours to 4 hours, depending on the size of the house. So it's not a matter of a long period of time, but it's a very crucial part of the process because it allows the buyer to come in and actually look at it a second time, but through my eyes, not their eyes. I'm not looking at the pretty kitchen and the tile, and the paint. I'm in the basement most of the time and up in the attic. And I'll give you an example. I had a post inspection recently, and the buyers never went into the attic. So I went through the house and they said, yep, we bought the house. We had no choice. We were like 14 offers, didn't get accepted. So we bought this house and we're just crossing our fingers today. Well, I went through the house and I did find quite a few things wrong. But when I went to the attic, I said, did you go to the attic? No, we never did. It was full of mold, which broke their heart because they want to bring in 2 babies into this house right away. And so I helped them with a referral to help them clean up the problem. But they're stuck with that. I think it was $9,000 to clean up that mold in the attic alone, not including everything else we found, which for a brand new home buyer, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, I would say so. And mold, obviously, there's a lot of health issues there. The same with lead paint. That was a big one in the 80s and 90s. Lisa, what are kind of the high level items you need to look at? I mean, you talked about mold. You talked about the roof. What about the foundation? What about some technology that's you're finding in these homes?
Definitely. So the way I do it is I walk around the house a couple times to kind of take a look at the house, make sure nothing's off square, because sometimes you'll see something outside. So what I tell my clients is we're looking on the outside for conditions that are conducive to defects I may see on the inside. Example, in Wellesley, there was a house and the back felt like it was going this way forward. It took me 2 hours to realize and put the puzzle together that we had a major structural deficiency and we had to call an engineer. I would never have picked that up on a 1 hour quick walkthrough. Okay, things I look at: foundation, heating system, hot water system, open up the electrical panel, look at wiring. You have no idea how many times, even in newer homes, I've opened up the electrical panel and found burnt wiring. And then the homeowner's like, thank you. We never knew. Well, you would have never took the cover off, so how would you know? So there's a lot of things I look at that even a homeowner wouldn't look at because they don't do those things. I look at the water line coming in. I look at the sewer line. I run the appliances. I check all the circuits. I test all the outlets. I see a lot of handyman wiring, that homeowners do because no one thinks they need to pull a permit anymore. I go to the attic. I look at ventilation. I look for the M word, mold, which we call suspected microbial growth. There's a lot that we look at as home inspectors that people just don't realize. They think we just go in and do this compliance inspection. No, we're actually looking out for the buyer's best interest. So if there's something coming up, we want to give them that list of things they're going to have to do so they can prioritize to make them a better buyer. If you buy a home without that inspection, and God forbid 2 of these things come up, what happens? You start putting it on credit cards. Eventually, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Lisa, at the end of the home inspection, what does the buyer get? Do they get a report? Do they get a binder with all your findings? How, what can they expect if they go through a home inspection?
Well, I'll tell you the way I do it. I go to the site and I take my facts. I take all my evidence, and then I bring it back to the office and I write a report. And I tell my clients they'll have a report either the next day or within 48 hours. If I find a lot of things, I reserve the right for that 48 hours. If I'm on site and I'm checking off a checklist, for my business model, I don't think it helps my customers as much as a computer narrative with a separate summary with pictures. Because once I get a client in the home, they're glazed over, they're buying the biggest purchase of their home, they don't remember too much. It's what I write is the most important thing. So I try not to do it on site so I don't rush myself. So if my client needs some extra information, I can give it to them. If they want ages of systems, I can give that to them. So I cater my report to my buyer.
Lisa, how do I, if I don't live in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, how do I find a certified home inspector? Do I go to a certain organization? Can I find it online? I mean, there must be plenty of home inspectors out there, but you want to make sure, I would think, that they're certified and experienced to work and evaluate a home.
You're absolutely right. The first thing to find out if your state is licensed. If you have licensed home inspectors, you can go right to the government website and you can pull the whole list of home inspectors. You can pinpoint your town or city and find a licensed home inspector. Second, you want to call your home inspector and interview them and ask them how long they've been in business. Do they belong to a trade such as the American Society of Home Inspectors, who I represent as president this year? You can go right to our website at www.ashi.org. You can put in your zip code and you can find an inspector, and they'll list all their specialties as well. Excuse me. So if you're looking for an old home inspector who does antiques, you can pinpoint then your licensed guy down to an affiliated guy who's certified, who specializes in the areas that you need.
Yeah, really important. You got to do your research. If you speed up the buying process, you have a tendency to make a mistake, and you don't want to do that on such what is for many people their biggest investment. Lisa, we're going to have to leave it there. Great to see you. Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to having you back on the program again very soon.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
And that wraps up this episode of BRN AM. Have a topic of interest, someone you think we should talk to, drop us a line. And don't forget, for all the latest curated news on lifestyle, wellness, finance, tech, so much more, and all in one place, check out today's edition of our daily newsletter, The Morning Pulse. Want to search our archives, check out our latest content, we'll visit our website, and of course, all of our streaming partners. We're back again tomorrow for another edition of BRN AM. Until then, I'm Jeff Snyder. Stay safe, keep on saving, and don't forget, roll with the changes. Now is your opportunity to co-create content around any topic on the First Lifestyle and Wellness Network. Reach a global audience through our platform and co-own exclusive branded content. All of our programs are available on demand and also as audio-only podcasts, so you can take us on the go. Broadcast Retirement Network, available anytime, anywhere, and on any device.